everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Need a Lift podcast with me, your happy host, Clyde Always. That's right, my name's Clyde Always. Clyde is in Bonnie and Clyde, and always is in I'll always be Clyde Always. And if this is your first time at the Need a Lift podcast, I'd just like to say welcome to it. And what's my intention as a podcaster? My intention is to offer you a little motivation, a little reaffirmation that you are on the path to creative fulfillment and that you ought not stop for anything or anybody. Keep on trucking, keep on doing it. You are worthy, you are good enough. You are on the road. You are on the highway to creative fulfillment. Fulfillment, that's what I meant to say. I'm chewing gum into a microphone because I'm gunning for lunch. I got to get this podcast done before I can go get myself some lunch. Which is crazy because it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Anyway, it's been a wild day so far, and I've gotten a lot done. And by a lot, I mean just enough. Just enough to squeak by. But anyway, this isn't about me. This is about you. And your goddamn dreams. Your vision. That which you have been devoting your greatest effort. And I know you wouldn't do nothing half-assed. You would only do something to the full capacity of your ability. All right. And today's pep talk is centered around you getting in your own way. You stepping on your own feet. You stumbling because of obstacles you've laid out for yourself. Stop doing it. You know, that's what's crazy, man. That's what's crazy. I have met so many talented people in my time here in San Francisco. And this is the Paris of the West, by the way. Artists, creatives, free thinkers, philosophers, doers. The world over, the globe over, have come to the city, have flocked to this city, like the swallows of Capistrano, and done their goddamn thing. Beat poets, painters, sculptors, singers, songwriters, magicians. I mean, amazing people. People that maybe we haven't even heard of, but they have certainly left their mark, not just on the people alive during their time, but people nowadays and forever to come. Isn't that really the purest intention of any artist, is to leave behind a legacy, leave behind something that future generations might be inspired by, or entertained by, or amused by, or lifted by? God help me, let this podcast be that. I don't know what else. Well, don't get me wrong, I've been putting out a lot of stuff over the years. I'm not the most direct. I'm not on the most direct path, but don't you worry, man. I'm getting everything under the sun. I'm casting a wide net here. And that's what you ought to do. Or maybe you ought to specialize in just one single solitary thing. All right? Whatever it may be. Now, maybe you want to write murder ballads, and you want to play them on a ukulele and a kazoo, and you want to stare people down while you do it. Well, there's a niche for that. There's a demand for just that very thing. Suppose you want to design amusement park rides. Suppose you want to lay out roller coasters for the new theme parks that are going to go up. God, I hope theme parks aren't a thing of the past. I read some damn article about what the pandemic's doing to the theme parks, and it ain't good. But anyway, I'm sure, don't worry, we won't get onto that topic. I'm going to steer clear of that topic. We're talking about you and your dreams, man. Your creative vision. Now, how does any creation come into play? It comes into play. How does it come into existence? Not into play. How does it come into existence? It comes into existence because you, the creator, you who are channeling the universal genius, have envisioned in your mind's eye, have heard in your mind's ear. Is that even a fucking expression? I don't know. Pardon my French. I will bleep that out. Don't worry about it. Anyway, you have felt the stirrings of creativity, the transcendent joy of creativity ring, peal like church bells within your soul. And you know that thing that you want to do is worthy of being in the world. You know it in your heart, and there's nothing that can stop you so long as you know that. And you know that. You're not second-guessing it. You saw it, that thing that you're going to create. Or perhaps you've created already countless things, and you're sitting on a mountain of your own creations, and you're looking far and wide for anybody who might want to indulge themselves in your creations, and you feel passed up. You feel neglected by the world. Perhaps you didn't think about them when you were bringing these creations into the world. Perhaps your intention wasn't as pure as you thought it was. That's a real possibility. Baby, that's a possibility. But you know what? It ain't the end of the world. Never forget you're a human. Perhaps no, not perhaps. Certainly, to you, you're the most important person there is. And if that's not the case, I'm sorry. You should be. Anyway, take control. Today's the goddamn day that you set the gears back in motion. Perhaps you just ground to a halt. Sorry, I almost spilled something. Anyway, perhaps you've ground to a halt. And you're sitting pretty in the middle of a desolate wasteland on your way to someplace great. And you're saying to yourself, God damn, I just need to get back on track. Or perhaps the track wasn't right. You want to head back the other way. Well, don't go backwards, whatever you do, but you can certainly veer out. You can veer in any goddamn direction you want. And in fact, this is a three-dimensional fantasy that I'm building here. You can go down or up. Just not backwards. Don't go backwards. But there are infinite possibilities to you. A wonderful creator, a beautiful human being, somebody who would want to go out of their way. And we're not talking about making money here either. Forget about money. You want to be an artist. Man, money's got to take a back seat, all right? Now I know all the money people are going to be crying at me. They're going to be saying, you stupid idiot. Don't you understand that is the end? Art is just merely a means. I say fuck that. I say money is a means to the end of you creating something worthy of being in the world, god damn it. Now, I don't know what it is. Could be fucking anything, man. Maybe you want to whittle masks out of PVC pipes. And I don't mean like the Corona masks. I mean like a great big freaky looking thing, man. And you want to wear that around town as if nothing peculiar is going on at all. And everybody will walk by and they'll go, wow, look at that guy. I wonder if he made that mask himself. Now, that's a silly example. But I should think there'd be nothing wrong with that if that's what you want to do. So quit putting obstacles in your own way. If you want to make masks, if you want to whittle masks out of PVC pipes, then I reckon you better do it. And there are some clear steps that you could take right here and now. Number one, you could put in your earphones. Take this podcast out on the street. Get out. Get out of your apartment. Take action. Be proactive. Now, here's the other thing. Maybe you are the most talented PVC mask whittler there ever was. But talent is barely half the battle. If not just a tiny fraction of the battle. Maybe there's not even a battle. Maybe that's a fucked up metaphor. My point is, you could be the most talented mask creator in the whole wide world. But suppose you make masks that are the most jaw-droppingly, stunningly beautiful things that anybody has ever seen. Or I guess it doesn't have to be beautiful in a conventional sense of the word. Moving, man. Maybe that's what you want to do. Maybe it's not the actual emotion of happiness that you want to instill in your viewer, in your listener, in your auditor, in your audience. Who knows? I don't know what emotion you're seeking to convey. It could be anything, man. It could be anything. The possibilities are endless. Anyway, suppose you're the most talented person in your field who's ever lived or will ever live. Like I said, that barely gets you started because I've known so many talentless fucking hacks who have made something brilliant out of themselves. Now, I say known. I don't mean known. I mean, in my lifetime, I have looked around at these pig fuckers. We'll bleep that out later. Don't worry about it. But these talentless do-nothings that have risen to a level of fame. I mean, it's not even enough to say it's undeserved. Who knows how the hell these people have gone on to become somebody who is supposedly worthy of our admiration. Fuck that. Fuck that. That's what I'm saying. Talent, it seems, is barely half the battle. Talent is barely anything at all. But that's my point. It's such a shame to waste it. It's such a shame to waste it. If you've got something, if you are the most talented PVC mask whittler that has ever lived, then for God's sakes, set the wheels in motion. Don't just whittle your masks and hang them up on the wall. Get them out there. And there's an infinite number of ways to get your shit out there nowadays. Dear Lord, man. You know, I was on a goddamn path. I was on the path, man, to being a performer, a live performer. And perhaps that's all gone kaput because of the big C. We won't talk about it. But no, of course it hasn't gone kaput. It's gone kaput. It's just there's been a rather large obstacle placed in front of all of us that we all have to deal with equally. But that's all besides the point, okay? My point is, I don't know what my point is, but I've got a point. Just stay tuned. Don't worry about it. It's going to be great. I hope you're doing the dishes right now, by the way. Get up. Straighten your shit up. Break out the projects, and when you've got something that you know in your heart is worthy of presenting to the world, then don't stop for nothing or nobody. Now, I don't exactly know how you're going to find a market for your PVC masks, but you had better fucking well find it. There's 7.5 billion people out there. I would say at least 1 billion of them would be interested in your PVC masks. I don't even think anybody makes PVC masks, but that's a fascinating idea. If you're in the whittling business, I might recommend you get into that, man. See what kind of things you can carve. See what kind of things you can polish, all right? See what kind of things you can create out of thin air. Man, that's the kind of thing that really gets me fired up. Anyway, I know you, and you've got an incredible talent. Your talent is awe-inspiring. What's more, you don't just have talent, you've got something to say. You have got something real and something good and something pure to say to the world, and the world wants to hear it. But you can't allow yourself to get discouraged. As soon as you get discouraged, that's it. The whole thing's over. The whole thing's kaput. Because you have become your own worst enemy. You are your own harshest critic. Never forget that. Now, that's the other thing, too. Once you start putting it out there, you gotta be prepared. You gotta be prepared for everybody and their mom to have some kind of goddamn opinion about what it is you're doing. But you, who hath seen this beautiful thing in your mind's eye and brought, labored, sweated, worked your fingers to the bone, shed blood, sweat, and tears, bringing this thing into the world, electrocuted yourself, burned yourself, crucified yourself to bring this thing into the world, whatever it may be. Maybe you make little people out of those old-fashioned clothes hangers, and you turn them into little doodads. I don't know. That would be a cool thing. You do all kinds of things. Whatever it is you do. I know you do something great, by the way. I know you've got that book coming along. I know you're about to cast. I know you're about to lay that painting up on that canvas. That's all you got to do is lay it out and then look at it. And little by little, it will manifest itself. And perhaps it will be the most famous, the most well-known, the most renowned painting that has ever been brought into existence. You don't know. But you do know that it's worthy of being here. And you know that somebody out there might like to have a look at it. And when I say somebody, I mean a multitude of people. There might be hundreds of thousands of millions of billions of people that want to get a good goddamn look at what it is that you had in your brain. So it's through sheer manifestation that anything has become real in this world. That somebody could have envisioned that goddamn roller coaster. And now here we all are, riding it, saying, wow, this is wild. Thank God for the good minds at work that brought this thing into the world. So, in conclusion, envision the thing. Think about it. Stop blocking it out. Stop blocking your creation out of your mind. And there's any number of things that might block it out. There's any number of petty distractions that might impede your ability to bring works of wonder into the world. Or even to hone your own skills. To refine yourself as a human being, as a thoughtful human being, as a creator of bliss and beauty and brilliance, as a divine creature that you know you are, the highest level of life in the universe for all you know. With all the evidence that you've been presented, you yourself are the highest level of intelligence that has ever been or will ever be. That's what you are, a divine creature worthy of bringing works of wonder into the world. So whatever you're doing, get back on track. And if you have yet to be on track, get on track. Get that ball rolling. Take actions. Today is the day. You know what actions might get you started on your path, and perhaps you're sitting on your pile of creations and you have yet to share them with the world because you're afraid of all of those critics out there that are going to say, oh, well, I don't think it's all that good. Well, the hell with you then. Thanks for taking a peek. Thanks anyway. We'll see you. We'll see you down the trail. All right? Because you know that you did your best job, and that this thing that you brought into the world, this PVC mask that you hung up on the wall and you took a picture of and you sent it out to every PVC mask dealer you can think of. You faced them with your chin held high and your eyes looking directly into theirs with a smile of confidence that only a divine creature can wear on their face. You said, hey, look at me. I made this masky. Check it out. Boink. You put it on and they said, God damn. That's the mask I've been looking for. You're hired, son. I don't know. This is all a deranged fantasy, by the way. Thanks for tuning in. I hope that lifted you in some weird way. Anyway, my name's Clyde always, and I've got an extra special poem for you tonight, everybody. That's right, it's time for the poetic interlude. Pep talk now finished. Poetic interlude coming your way, and I've selected one that's very special for the season. Because on Saturday, that's what I meant, on Saturday, it's time for Halloween. All Hallows Eve, that's what they call it. And I've got a scary poem, a scary recitation for you fine folks. All right, so turn the lights down low. Get ready, because this poem is coming compliments of the Bard of the Yukon, Robert W. Service, a Scotsman turned Canadian, gone up to Dawson. Is that the name of the fucking town? I can't remember. Way up there in the Yukon Territory. There was a gold rush around the turn of the 19th century, of the 18th century, of the 20th century. Dear Lord, man, I gotta eat some lunch. Anyway, with no more further ado, here it is, The Cremation of Sam McGee. There are strange things done in the midnight sun by the men who moil for gold. These Arctic trails have their secret tales that can make your blood run cold. Oh, the northern lights have seen queer sights, but the queerest they ever did see was that night on the marge of Lake Labarge that I cremated Sam McGee. Now, Sam McGee was from Tennessee, where the cotton blooms and blows. Why he left his home in the south to roam round the pole, God only knows. He was always cold, but the land of gold seemed to hold him like a spell. Though he'd often say in his homely way that he'd sooner live in hell. On a Christmas day, we were mushing our way over the Dawson Trail. Talk of your cold through the parka's fold, did it stab like a driven nail? If our eyes would close, then the lashes froze till sometimes we couldn't see. And it wasn't much fun, but the only one to whimper was Sam McGee. And that very night, as we lay packed tight in our robes beneath the snow, and the dogs were fed and the stars overhead would dance and heel and toe, he turns to me and, Cap, says he, I'll cash in this trip, I guess. And if I do, I'm asking that you won't refuse my last request. Well, he seemed so low that I couldn't say no. Then he says with a sort of a moan, "It's this cursed cold, and it's got right hold till I'm chilled clean through to the bone. Yet, 'tain't being dead, it's my awful dread of the icy grave that pains. So I want you to swear that foul or fair, you'll cremate my last remains." Our pal's last need is a thing to heed, so I swore that I would not fail. And we started on at the streak of dawn, but God, he looked ghastly pale. He crouched on the sleigh and he raved all day of his home in Tennessee, but before nightfall a corpse was all that was left of Sam McGee. There wasn't a breath in that land of death, and I hurried, horror-driven, with a corpse half hid that I couldn't get rid because of a promise given. It was lashed to the sleigh, and it seemed to say, "You may tax your brawn and your brains, but you promised true. So it's up to you to cremate my last remains." Now a promise made is a debt unpaid, and the trail has its own stern code. In the days to come, though my lips were dumb, in my heart how I cursed that load. In the long, long night by the lone firelight, while the huskies round in a ring howled out their woes to the homeless snows. Oh God, how I loathed that thing. And every day that quiet clay seemed to heavy and heavier grow, and on I went till the dogs were spent and the grub was getting low, and the trail was bad and I felt half mad, but I swore that I wouldn't give in, and I'd often sing to that hateful thing. It hearkened with a grin, till I came to the marge of Lake Labarge, and a derelict there lay. It was jammed to the ice, and I saw on a trice it was called the Alice May. And I looked at it, and I thought for a bit, then I looked at my frozen chum. Then here, says I, with a sudden cry, is my crematorium. Some planks I tore from the cabin floor, and I lit the boiler fire. Some coal I found that was lying around, and I heaped the fuel up higher. The flames just soared, and the furnace roared, such a blaze you seldom see. And I burrowed a hole in the glowing coal, and I stuffed in Sam McGee. And I made a hike, for I didn't like to hear him sizzle so. And the heavens scowled, and the huskies howled, and the winds began to blow. It was icy cold, but the hot sweat rolled down my cheeks, and I don't know why. And the greasy smoke in an inky cloak went streaking through the sky. I do not know how long in the snow I wrestled with grisly fear, but the stars came out and they danced about ere again I ventured near. I was sick with dread, but I bravely said, "I'll just take a peep inside. I guess he's cooked." And it's time I looked, and the door I opened wide. Phoom. And there sat Sam, looking cool and calm in the heart of the furnace roar. And he wore a smile you could see for a mile, and he said, "Please, close that door. Oh, it's nice in here, but I greatly fear you'll let in the cold of the storm. Since I left Plumtree down in Tennessee, it's the first time I felt war." There are strange things done in the midnight sun by the men who moil for gold. These Arctic trails have their secret tales that can make your blood run cold. All the northern lights have seen queer sights, but the queerest they ever did see was that night on the marge of Lake Labarge that I cremated Sam McGee. The end. Thanks, everybody. I hope you dug it. Okay. It's time we have reached that pinnacle point in the podcast where we're going to our special artist spotlight. All right. And today's artist spotlight is none other than that Austrian fellow of ours, Gustav Klimt. Now, Gustav Klimt lived from 1862 to 1918, and he was, among other things, a painter. A fantastic and fabulous painter at that. Now, Gustav Klimt, what do I love about Gustav Klimt? Well, A, you know his main motivation was to capture the beauty of the female form. What's more beautiful in life than the female form? Can I get a hell yeah? Anyway, not only did he capture the sheer raw, unfiltered beauty of real human females. I mean, think about what we're confronted with on a daily basis. It's pure bullshit. I mean, I see pictures of women now, and I know that it's not true. I know that there is some doodad, some gizmo in their little picture-taking device that adulterates their appearance in such a way that makes me want to go bleh. All right? Because it's dumb, man. You know, okay, I don't want to get into it. I always want to go off on a fucking tangent. But anyway, I mean, girls are getting, like, inferiority complexes surrounding how people are, in their minds, supposed to look. I feel sorry for them. Now, what these girls need to look at are some Gustav Klimt paintings. Anyway, not only does he capture the essence of femininity, in my mind, but he also bridges the gap between realism and abstraction, all right? Because I think there's nothing wrong with abstraction. I like a whole lot of abstract, surreal, cubist, Dada. I like these things, all right? These are weird things. They're weird for the sake of being weird, all right? Now, that's cool. It's cool to have non-representational art, but maybe don't tell your viewer what they're looking at. Allow your viewer to discern that for themselves. That's my only critique of some abstract artists out there. And in fact, nowadays it seems as though that's the only kind of art that anybody's interested in anymore. Art that means nothing. Well, perhaps it means something to you, but certainly doesn't mean much to me. Anyway, the point is that Gustav Klimt, all right, he was bridging that gap before there was even a gap to be bridged, man. There's so many of his paintings, you'd look at it, and at a glance you'd think, oh, that's an interesting abstract, non-representational piece. But no, you look a little closer, you say, holy shit, I didn't even realize that was her dress. Oh my God, that's her dress. That is so cool. All right? Now that's it. That, in my mind, is the mark of a master, a modern master. That was Gustav Klimt. So check him out. All you need to do is go, if you've never heard of him, go on Google. Open up Google image search and type in Gustav Klimt, The Kiss. Now that's a great painting to start with. I'd say that's his most iconic work. You see, he did a whole lot with gold leafing too. He was commissioned to do portraits of all of the members of the Viennese high society back around then, the turn of the century. That would have been so fucking cool, man. What I wouldn't give to jump in a time machine and get back there and sip an espresso in a Viennese cafe, say, eine Melange bitte, all right? And go and hang with Gustav Klimt in his painter's smock, petting his kitty cat, sitting out in his garden, smelling the flowers, and then going inside and sitting in front of a beautiful Viennese model. And he's got, you gotta see the way he does it, with these little bits of cerulean blue, just flaking, just sparkling out of these women's paper white skin. It's fabulous. It's beautiful. It's pure gusto, man. It is pure beauty on canvas. So thank you, Gustav Klimt. You have inspired me, Clyde, always. You are this week's Artist Spotlight. Gustav Klimt. If you've never heard of him, do yourself a favor. Look him up. Okay. Hey, everybody. It's almost time to go. I always like to close this on a tender, uplifting, amusing anecdote, one of those three. And today I just want to tell you about a very special tree that grows in my neighborhood. I believe she's an ash tree, but I could be wrong. She's gigantic. I call her Mama Tree. And when I first moved to the neighborhood, too, I remember being smitten by her. I mean, just seeing her for the first time, it's enough to bring you down to your knees in the sheer glory that is Mama Tree. Oh, she stands taller than the fucking eucalyptus trees. She stands taller than most of the three-story buildings around here. She's thick around the middle, too. And she's got a gigantic vulva-esque crotch. Right there, you can see why I might think of her as the mother of all trees. Anyway, a nice place to go and sit. And I sit there under Mama Tree quite often because she's right on the wiggle. So there I am, mostly obscured by the parked cars on either side of me, but there I am, playing my ukulele. Mrs. Kaylee, my new wifey. Was my old wife, now my new wife. Sorry about that. Kaylee. Poor Haley is now dead. Anyway, that's a whole other story altogether. Mama Tree. How many lovely, wonderful evenings did I spend underneath Mama Tree? And she bears the strangest fruit. You see, whensoever maybe you're feeling like a little, downtrodden. Maybe you're feeling like your fellows are out to get you. That happens to the best of us. Especially anybody putting their art out there hoping for any reaction, but namely positive reactions as opposed to negative reactions. Anyway, perhaps you're feeling a bit downtrodden, and you're saying, why the hell am I doing this? Nobody fucking likes it anyway. I don't even like it. Blah. Okay, we've all been there. Shit happens, all right? I've been there. We've all been there. Anyway, you go out. And, maybe you've got your own Mama Tree. There's a bazillion beautiful trees from which you can seek revitalization. Anyway, draw strength, draw courage from this wonderful entity, this ash tree that lives on Steiner Street between Dubose and Waller. No. Yes. Between Dubose and Waller. Yeah, I'm not out there. I know where I am. Anyway, go find Mama Tree because she bears the strangest fruit. She bears people love. So go there feeling lousy. Breathe. Tell her all about your problems. And she will breathe into you the warmest, happiest feeling you could ever hope to feel. Love for your fellow human beings. Because everybody is worthy of the benefit of the doubt. And if they prove themselves to be pure evil to you, then never, ever give them another thought. Keep on walking by. But if they have yet to prove themselves unworthy of your love, I say, be prepared to dish it out in spades, man. Because that's what will bring you up. That's what will lift you up. That's what'll do it. It's a mutual thing. Anyway, I'm over time. Hey everybody, I'm Clyde, always your happy host. I should have been joined by Kaylee the ukulele, but I forgot about it. She's taking a nap, man. Dig it. But just imagine the sweet rising tones of a beautiful little fretted lute that she is. Anyway, she'll be back next week. Don't worry about it. I'm Clyde, always chewing gum into a microphone. I'm Clyde, always your happy host. If you need a lift, tune into this podcast. Please tell a friend. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that shit. Whatever the fuck, I don't care. Just listen to my podcast and tell your friends about this podcast because this podcast is for you. All right, now go do something great. Don't stop for nobody. You're ready to do it. Come on. Bring that thing into the world, whatever it is. Whatever it is that you do. Go do it.